Wow. Wow. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what to say. I was not expecting to make this video this morning. To be honest with you, I thought the Toronto Maple Leafs were going to win yesterday. I really did. I thought they were going to exercise their demons and pull out the Game 7 victory over the Florida Panthers. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. They blew it. They were an absolute embarrassment again on home ice. After, fans get into belief again in that dominating Game 6 on the road performance, 2-0, to drag it back to Toronto for Game 7. I really did think that they were going to exercise every demon they had and pull out the Game 7 victory. Unfortunately for them, they got worked. They got worked in Game 7 by the Florida Panthers, and it was right off the gate. The first 10 minutes of the period, they got absolutely dominated. They didn't even stand a chance. It didn't even look like they thought it was Game 7. They looked like they thought it was preseason, Game 1 of the preseason. And then the second 10 minutes of that period, they got their legs going and they actually looked like the better team in that period. So you could say at the end of the first period, they weathered the storm that came. I'm pretty sure it was 25 shot attempts to 0 at the start for Florida. And then at the end of the period, it was kind of even. So you can say they weathered the storm and then they found their game, and you could understand the belief and the fans behind them. They were cheering. They were happy. But then in the second period, everything just fell apart. Like, they literally looked like an F1 car just lost both wheels off the front and exploded into the barrier. Like, I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that this team just completely collapsed in the second period, and that's where the demise happened. It was in a blink of an eye. It was already 3-0. Like, I don't think it was all Joseph Wall's fault at all. Like, the team just was not good in front of him. Simply, to put it that way. Austin Matthews said after the game there was too many passengers. I would agree. They didn't look like they were like playing as a team, like a team game in the biggest game of the franchise in the last 25 years. They just didn't have it. It's really an embarrassment to think where this team was a week ago, up 2-0 in this series, and everyone, including myself, thought, okay, this team is different. Like, Craig Berube has this team playing a different type of way. The team is calm, cool, and collected. Well, all that came out in the second period as well after Mitch Marner decided to tell his boys to wake the F up, and then proceeds to go out there and turn the puck over and lead to a goal. So, it's hard. Like, the frustration set in, and once the frustration set in, like, it was game over. But the real thing is, who's to blame now? Because this has to stop. Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. If they do it one more time, I think a lot of their fans are gonna have to go to therapists because they're going to be driven to insanity. Watching this core fail over and over and over. There is no excuse anymore. You cannot say anything. You cannot say it was a close game. It was a close effort. They just couldn't get it. Goaltending. They just got ran into a hot goaltender. They honestly, Joseph Wall last year goes down. They didn't have their goaltender. You can't make any excuses. This core just simply did not get it done. At the end of the day, 31 teams in the NHL don't get it done every single year, and you're trying to find the answers to get it done. But that doesn't mean that you keep on running back the same thing over and over and over with 50% of your cap in 4 players. 4 freaking players that can't simply show up in the biggest games of their careers. It's just simple. Listen, there's a lot of blame to go around, and we're about to dive into it. But first, I want to just throw on some stats here because, yeah, it's really hard. So William Nylander finishes the year with 13 goals. Let's just share the screen here. They finished the year, finished the year with 13 playoff games, 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points, above a point per game, was -3, averaged 19 minutes a night. He was an absolute no-show in the last 3 games of this series for me. He was absolutely terrible. And if you want to talk about like a player that is going to go underneath the radar that shouldn't, it's him, because people are going to forget that he was absolutely garbage in the last 3 games. Then you have Mitch Marner, 2 goals, 11 assists. You know what? You're not going to get goals out of Mitch Marner like at a pace that you think that, you know, an elite player like maybe William Nylander is. But what he does bring is his playmaking, and for majority, not every single game, but for a majority of this playoffs, Mitch Marner was a great player. Austin Matthews, 3 goals, 11 points in 13 games. He was the most disappointing player to me in this entire playoffs. Listen, I know he's dealing with something, and I know it must suck. Because he just doesn't look like the Austin Matthews that we know him to be every single night, where that everyone can't leave him alone for 1 second, or else he's gonna make you pay with his elite, with his elite shot. But listen, it just doesn't look the same right now, and he was undoubtedly the worst player or the most disappointing player in the playoffs. Max Pacioretty, this is where like secondary scoring. Max Pacioretty, you wouldn't expect him to be here in this situation. 11 games, 3 goals, five assists, 8 points. John Tavares, 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. He was honestly decent. I honestly don't have a problem with John Tavares in this situation. We know the contract's up with him. The only thing you can really say is he didn't get on the score sheet, but overall, his overall game was pretty good. Matthew Nyes, this is the kid of the future. This is your future of the franchise. 7 points as well, 5 goals in 13 games. Max Domi, Ty Domi might have been better out there, honestly. 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points in 13 games. There is scoring here. They like a decent amount of points. It's not like they didn't get points in these from these guys these playoffs. But at the end of the day, it's still not enough. When you only score 1 goal, I think in your last 5 game 7s, it's just simply not enough to satisfy anyone in this arena or in this city anyway. So here are some stats as well that I'm gonna read off here. In in most consecutive losses in winner take all playoff games, the Toronto Maple Leafs are now second all time in that list at 8, with spanning from 2013, from that 4-1, that was maximum pain loss to the Boston Bruins, to now. Colorado is third on that list. Then you have the core four and their game 7 history since 2018. Matthews 0-6, all of them 0-6, honestly. Matthews 0 goals, 3 points. Mitch Marner 0 goals, 2 points. William Nylander 2 goals, 4 points. Morgan Riley 1 goal, 1 point. Yeah, that's not enough. That's simply just not enough. Let's go to the next one. This one hurts. Brad Marchand, 35 career playoff points versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's second all time now on the list. Like, it's ridiculous what this man is able to do to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He is the Maple Leafs killer. There is no doubt about it. And then listen, the Leafs record, this is from Jay Fresh. The Leafs record in winner take all playoff games post lockout, game probability from betting odds. Listen, in 2013 they had 38% chance of winning. 2018 39, 2019 45, 67 in 23 or 2020. 2021 they had 67, 2022 they had 58, 2024 last year against Boston they had 48, and this year they had 48. They get absolutely crunched in these games. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. The final stats from Sportsnet Stats the Maple Leafs are the first team to lose back-to-back home games in the same playoff series by 5 or more goals since the 1979 Flyers in their quarterfinal series versus the Rangers. Maple Leafs in a winner-take-all game since 2018. 0-7 record, 9 goals. Goals against are 28, 1 for 11 on the power play, and a save percentage of .893. Matthews and Marner, 5 points combined. Listen, they also matched the NHL record for the largest margin of defeat in a game in a home team for Game 7. Yeah, that's also a part of maximum pain. And they're also 2-14 in potential game or series clinching games in the Matthews era. So that's just unacceptable. At the end of the day, Morgan Riley said it best last night. Their play was just unacceptable. Honestly, I don't know where you go from here. That's the problem. The biggest problem is you don't know where they go from here. But the one thing is we can definitely deal out some blame here. And number one on the list is Brendan Shanahan. Number one, he has to go. Like, it's just not even a question. He has to be the one to go, and I would not be shocked if he's let go tomorrow on Tuesday, May 20th, 2 days after their playoff exit. I would not be shocked if he's let go tomorrow. Like, he is the catalyst, or he was the one that put everything together. He's the one that has been here through GMs and head coaches. He's the one who has his hands on the team. He needs to go. Like, there is no other question. Brendan Shanahan has to be the one to leave the team. It's just simple as that. We'll move on to Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner, he's going to get the most blame for any player. Do I think it's fully warranted? No. But he's one of the highest paid players, and he hasn't showed up. And listen, when you don't show up, there's going to be criticism, especially in Toronto media. Do I think he's going to leave? Yeah. And I don't think it's just... the way I'm going to phrase this is he deserves a lot of blame. Don't get me wrong, he deserves a lot of blame for what has happened. He has not been good in the playoffs. We just went over what his stats are. But at the end of the day, it might be good for both him and the Maple Leafs to move on. For him to move on in free agency, for him to get a fresh start, for him not to deal with the Toronto media and the Toronto fans on his back every single day. Listen, it might, I think Maple Leafs fans after 2 years are going to realize what they had in a top 20 player in Mitch Marner in the league. But when you don't get it done in the playoffs for 9 years in a row, maybe you aren't a top 20 player in the league. That's where I can leave that. Then we move on to Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews. No one's going to blame him as much as Mitch Marner, but I will. Austin Matthews is the sole reason I think this team loses. Like, he does not look anything like he ever did. And he also has not played like himself for the whole year. He did not live up to being the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's simple as that. You expect him to score goals. He scored 69 of them last year in the regular season. Didn't show up in the playoffs. Didn't show up in the playoffs again this year. He didn't show up, Mitch Marner showed up more in the playoffs than Austin Matthews did. That's not a question. That is not a question. Mitch Marner is going to get more blame because he's the one who has a UFA on his next to his name in a contract situation. Austin Matthews is signed and locked and sealed in the franchise for the next little bit. And you know what? That's good. But Austin Matthews deserves a lot more blame than Mitch Marner does because he simply just did not show up game after game. It was not close. He simply just did not have it. I don't know what else to say with Austin Matthews. William Nylander. If Craig Berube has anything to say with this team going forward, I don't expect William Nylander to be back with this team. I honestly don't. I'm just going to say that right now. Because William Nylander, if you watch the last 3 games, honestly, garbage. Just garbage. Did not care. Just coasted around the offensive zone, coasted around the defensive zone, did not stay on his defensive man at all. Like, what more do you need to see? You saw what he cares about. He just cares about getting breakaways. That's all he cares about. So, yes, he's good at that. He's really freaking good at that. But when the details aren't there to win a championship, how do you expect to win a championship when you're just going to stand at the blue line and expect to get a breakout pass for a breakaway? That's not going to help. That's not going to help in a playoff situation. You literally saw it. Game 3, overtime. He is the reason they lost. He literally just coasted around the defensive zone and watched the puck. Did not care. Did not care. Did not make any effort. Yes, he's gassed. He's gassed 100%. But at least show effort, show passion, show heart, show anything at all. He deserves so much blame. So much blame. Yeah, and then we go on to the defense. This is the defense that they had, that this is their best defense they've had in like 20 years. Like, not even a question. Morgan Riley deserves the most blame out of this, but honestly, the defense was not the issue, in my opinion, in this game, or this whole playoffs. Like, they blocked so many shots. They kept them to the outside in so many games. They really did a good job. Overall, good job. Game 7, isolated, terrible job. But the whole playoffs as a whole, good job. Listen, the last one that deserves any blame at all would be John Tavares. But how much more blame can you give him? He already took you already took his captaincy. You already took that off his sweater. He's very, very honest in the sense of he's happy for Austin. He's very passionate that Austin Matthews is the captain. He's very happy for him. But how can you blame John Tavares? Like, the guy showed out. The guy literally showed out for you guys in the playoffs. And yeah, I don't know. I think Pete's going to get blamed, but he doesn't deserve it. So where the Maple Leafs go from here that's going to be the interesting part, and you should follow along on Second Look Sports, because we're going to have all the content that you need, including the podcast coming out later today, and you're going to see everything the boys have to react to it. Listen, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry, that's my bad. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, comment, and follow me on Instagram at Justin Sports. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.